And we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Task Force Toys with Matt Hunt. I'm your host, Matt Hunt. It's been a while since we did one of these shows. I think it was last week for episode 2 of Zenkaiger. Um, we're just going to go through the shows today in the order that they aired. This will be spoiler discussion. I will preface that before we move to each topic. Um, yeah, uh, that's it simply. So we're going to do spoiler talk on Dino Fury episode 4. Spoiler talk on Kamen Rider Saber episode 27, and then spoiler talk on episode 3 of Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. Uh, Debuting tonight, actually just came on, is the Zenkai Red special, episode 1. Episode 2 will be next week. I will review that maybe in a separate video when both parts are done. Okay, if you guys are enjoying the content, please feel free to share it out. If you know people who are interested in Dino Fury, Saber, Zenkaiger, or who are looking to talk rumors and leaks, once we're done with the Zenkaiger talk for episode 3, we're going to show off the Gear Tlinger using Gachapon set 1 of the gears. And then we'll go into rumors and leaks, and we can expect going forward for the channel. Okay, Dino Fury episode 4. I'm really digging Dino Fury. I don't know about anybody else. I've seen positive things on Twitter and all that. I'm digging it. I think the characters are really fun. The writing is definitely better than it's been the last couple of years. Um, the new Rangers, Javi he's fine. I mean, he's not annoying or anything. He seems a little bit uh, he's a little weaker than uh, I'm like he's a little bit weaker than the other characters for me. Uh, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. He just needs more time to develop. Izzy, on the other hand, came across really strong in the episode. Tessa Rao is a really good actor. Um, I don't know if, I mean, it seems to be her acting, just kind of bringing the lines to life. I'm not sure how much more room the actors have this year for improv, but the lines felt a little bit more natural and of a teenager speaking compared to what we've got the past couple of years. But yeah, it was a fun episode. The villains weren't overly in your face, annoying with their voices, which Dino Fury's done a good job so far of. Uh, my only issue with the show so far really is Jane and Jayborg, and I will preface that by saying that they're not as bad as comedic duos that we've had the last couple of years. Um, they're definitely nowhere near Victor and Monty. They're reminding me more of a Bulk and Spike. I just am a little uh, miffed because we were told, we're not doing a comedic duo this year. And they're basically a comedic duo. It's a different way of doing a comedic duo. Like I said, I've only really had an issue um, with the third episode of Dino Fury. But yeah, it was really fun. I liked the teams together, and I'm looking forward for more. Um, and the skirt thing, I loved. The edited shot of the five Rangers changing the shot from Ryusoji was really cool. It was just a good episode overall. Hi CV is in the house. Hi CV. Thank you for joining. It was a great episode of Zenkaiger. We're gonna get to the Zenkaiger after the Saber little mini talk. So that's Dino Fury, and feel free to ask questions and opinions on that as we go through the show. Kamen Rider Saber tonight. Saber's been a little bit better for me the last couple weeks. This episode wasn't as great for me as last time. Last time was like high bar for Saber. This one felt a little wishy-washy. Um, I don't know. Saber just doesn't do it for me as far as feeling weight behind what's happening. Again, this is spoiler talk. So we got Primitive Elemental Dragon. I think that's the name of the form for Saber tonight. And we also lost one of our villains. I'll keep it secret on who we lost, but we did lose a villain. And I mean, it's Kamen Rider, so they might be back eventually anyway. But I mean, that was interesting to see. We got a tease of a new night, maybe, so that's interesting. Just the show altogether feels still a little bit sloppy to me. Um, but it's definitely better than it was. Okay, Zenkaiger, which is the main topic for today. Zenkaiger episode 3 was really enjoyable. I think it's probably my least favorite of the three that we've had, but it was still really good. I think they were forced to use a lot of CGI in this episode. Excuse me while I grab coffee. They were forced to use a little CGI in this episode with the ice. Um, but once you got past that, it didn't really matter. The difference between Zenkaiger and Saber with the use of CGI. Zenkaiger is funny and the characters really work for me. And the world is, a mix of humans and robots, so it's already fantastical and kind of lets CGI be part of itself naturally. And I think Saber just anytime CGI pops up, it really just doesn't mesh. Like Primitive Dragon in this episode, for example, was like completely takes you out of the drama. Whereas with Zenkaiger, it's often played for a joke. So them slipping around on the ice and everything in this episode was really funny. Um, I loved that the two security guards from episode 1 from the Sky Tree were back, like ready to kick Kaito out again from the Sky Tree. I love that Majin is terrible at her fortune telling, at her crystal ball viewing. It was kind of setting them on a wild goose chase. Um, I love that Majin and Juron know each other. That was something that we didn't know about. She was like a neighbor of his in Kikaitopia, and he's known her since she was a little girl. So that's the kind of stuff that we're getting with Zenkaiger. There's a lot of character building and a lot of slow burn, building the team, building characters, knowing who these people are, who these robots are. Um, and I think it lends to a stronger show. Uh, this episode was very, I don't want to say formulaic. Um, it wasn't formulaic, but I think this is the archetypal Zenkaiger episode. I feel like this is going to be the typical format for the Zenkaiger episodes going forward, um, which is fine with me. I just think 1 and 2 felt really, really different for Super Sentai, and this one is kind of getting into that Super Sentai rhythm, which is fine, because I think Zenkaiger is original enough without needing to be completely 100% original from other shows. Um, so that was, I mean, it was interesting to see. We did still get just a lot of funny moments when they were going around trying to find Ice World, Kori World, the monster for this episode. Again, just sliding up and down Tokyo because it's frozen was funny. But then also everywhere that they went, the Sky Tree, the sauna, the haunted house, Gaon being not really scared by the ghost, the person who was working there who was pretending to be a ghost, kind of wasn't really hitting on her, but was kind of hitting on her. It was funny. Majin is a really interesting character. Again, she has this backstory with Juron where she's his neighbor, and she's kind of a shy girl, so she has trouble making friends and kind of not that she's not like a lone wolf or anything. She's just really shy and she's a lot of anxiety, which I identify with immediately. Um, so she's really really anxious and she kind of has to work herself up to being in a group, right? So I think the flashback, they were playing some kind of Kikanoid version of hopscotch. I really dug that. I'm guessing it was Juron's house. Had some gears kind of arranged next to it to make it look sort of like Earth, but not Earth. And obviously, it was Kitopia, but they changed just enough of the background and the setting to make it look unearthly, and that was cool. So basically, the episode is the three Zenkaiger from last time enlist Majin. They run into her after slipping on ice towards her. And the episode actually starts out with Kaito in a Q Ranger-esque fashion, seeing his astrological sign being read on the news. And it's something to the effect of uh, they'll have good fortune slipping into something today. My translation might be a little bit off, but definitely slip was in that. And then, he slips on the ice, and it's played for a joke, but they also slip and slide into Majin. So they enlist her help trying to find Corey World. They're banking on her fortune telling, her uh, ability to use her crystal ball, and it gets to the point where it's not working. Her and Gowon get into a fight, and her true nature comes out. What I liked about this is, as a person who suffers from anxiety, uh, there is a duality to that, right? So I'm both shy around people because I have that social anxiety, but then I can kind of lash out sometimes if I'm not really on top of things. And she lashed out at Gowan because he called into question her hobby. Um, and we were told that she's kind of being treated as an otaku of sorts with her interest in the magical arts and mysticism and that kind of thing. So seeing her kind of switch gears, haha, pun intended. Um, Seeing her switch gears and kind of going for this more manic personality was kind of fun, and she really flipped out on Gowan. It was something else. We're still getting that really fun relationship between Gowan and Juron where they just don't like each other. And Gowan just hates Kikonoids, and it's so funny. He definitely hates Juron more than he does Majin, but he's really quick to call Majin out on her fault that she's not a good fortune teller. But Kaito basically says, even though the fortune telling is failing, there's still value in that failing because they're having fun, right? She's sending them all over the city. They're having these different experiences, and that really touched me in a way that was nice. It was a nice little message that even if you fail at something, if you enjoy doing it, it has value. That's a great lesson, I think, for kids to learn. So Majin kind of takes stock in that, and she, starts to consider herself one of this group. She's not ready to be a Zenkaiger yet. Kaito kind of asks her point blank when they first meet her if she'll be a Zenkaiger. Juron kind of says, "No, it's kind of impossible for her just because of her attitude, and she doesn't think she can do it." They eventually track down the monsters, and it's Cory World, Ice World, and Badashtada, I think is how we pronounce the tank dude, with the missile lance. They're kind of they're trying to freeze the ocean. Gowon gets worried because the fish are frozen. So they're really stringing along the character beats from each episode, and I appreciate that. But they find them at this. I guess it's supposed to be like a cannery or something. Um, but it's some kind of dock that has frozen foods. It's like a port or something that they're in. Um, and they get there. Majin slides in on the sleds that they've been using all episode, and she finally commits to being a Zenkaiger. And this time they still go with the joke of the gun firing, but instead of shooting at the bad guys, Majin almost accidentally shoots herself because she's kind of holding the gun in an elegant fashion, and when she moves, it kind of shoots behind her. Um, Still funny. I like that they changed up the gag a little bit so it's not getting repetitive, but I do think we're going to get this gag at least every time a new ranger shows up, which is nice. Um, yeah, so she becomes Zenkai Majin. They do the team henshin. Unlike with Gowon, where he shared the screen with Juron and Kaito, those three share the screen, and then Majin gets her own transformation. scene. So the only one we haven't gotten a full transformation scene yet is Gowon, and I'm hoping he has a episode coming up that gives us that. They transform, like the whole episode, they're slipping and sliding. They kind of get knocked out into the ocean, which is frozen, fighting the minions, uh, the Kuditers. I think it's the Kuditers. Um, they're fighting. The ice world is kind of really powerful. He's shooting them with ice spikes. It's kind of there's a sequence where Kaito ducks. He kind of goes down. The ice hits the three Kikanoids, and then it hits him. Uh, it was funny. Um, Basically, they're getting their butts handed to them, and uh, Sechan back in base tells them to use the Tokuja gear to kind of link up, physically link up, and then use the train powers to kind of uh, travel along the ice and take out all the minions. So they summon the Tokuja powers. They do that. We get a nice little callback to the Tokuja waiting sound, like the warning bell for the train before the Tokujas transform. So they take out the minions that way. Um, but Ice World is proving too powerful, so Seichan tells Majin to use her magic. She's confused at first, and then he reminds her that she called herself her call sign was Magic Power Zenkai Majin, and basically she can do what Magi Pink did, which her magic is sort of transform magic, um, where she can kind of just change herself into different objects. So she does, and she can also kind of modify others as well. So she puts spikes like cleats on the other three's boots so that they can kind of stay steady on the ice. And then she turns herself into like those cup games. So she's the three cups, and it keeps going. You know, the monster keeps getting it wrong, getting shocked by her. Um, these two other famous psychic Kikinoids that she kind of looked up to show up under one of the cups. The Tokuja bit I really loved. So a lot of good visual gags and a lot of cool references back to Magi Pink. Magi Pink turned into some random stuff in Magi Ranger. Also, it felt a little bit like Kaku Ranger. There was some of that as well. Um, but anyway, they're able to team up. They use the team finisher for the first time. We get the theme song in the battle for the first time. It's not the word version. It's not the the sung version of the theme song, but the instrumental. I think when all five are united next time, we'll get the theme song in the battle, and it'll be symbolic of them being a team. So they beat Ice World. Gawon and Juron kind of anticipate what Barashara is going to do because of last time. He calls in the Kudai test. The Kudai test this time purposefully steps on the gear, turns into the Dai Kori world, the Great Ice World, refreezes everything. When they do beat the monster, they're still on the ocean. The Kikanoids run away, and Kaito is still there, and he drops into the water, which was really funny. But they're quick to call Zenkyo Juramajin. He's kind of no match for Quarry World though, because again the ice is still slippery. Quarry World can kind of, or I should say, Great Quarry World can like maneuver better on the ice. He's kind of taking down Zenkyo pretty easily. So Seichan has Majin grow giant. She turns into Majin Dragon. Majin Dragon has the same powers as Majin does. It's transformative magic. Uh, Quarry World, Dai Quarry World shoots a ice blast at her, and with her dragon breath, it changes into uh, kakigori, which is like Japanese shaved ice, which she eats. Very funny visual gag. And then they're able to actually, which was surprising. We got it teased in the opening for this episode. I didn't think it was going to be there this early. We got Zenkyo Juramajin, which is Juron and Majin combined. It's only CGI. There's no suit, which we knew from the magazines. But it's a really cool form. Flies around. It's Doesn't look like it has a finisher. It does look like it maybe will use some kind of magic attacks. It was flying around, kind of fighting the monster. Gowon was able to recover himself after the monster was attacked and kind of its guard was down. They reformed into Zenkyo Juramajin and took him out. Say 66 says that was such a tease. Yeah, I know. I'm glad we didn't have to wait long for Jura Majin because when you think about it, it's possible to do now, so why not show us now? I am curious where Vru Gawon, which is Vroon and Gawon's combination, where that will come into play. I feel like if it's next time, that's going to be really busy with also Vru Majin, but we'll see. So they beat the monster. It cuts to Vroon again, noticing that the ice world, was freed, just like the mushroom world from last time. He runs off to Ijirude to kind of complain slash inform slash ask what is going on. It goes back to Colorful, to the cafe. Uh, say 66 says we still have 2 weeks before the second set comes out. Absolutely, we do. So we have. I guess if they do Vrugaon in episode 5, that would be when the set comes out. So that would make sense. Um, yeah, they're all back at Colorful. Majin is officially welcomed to the team. Uh, there's some more ribbing between Gowon and Juron. Um, he's not too keen on Majin, but only because she's a Kikonoid. Um, they basically say, don't call us with any honorifics, just call us Kaito, just call us Juron. Gowon doesn't say anything, but she calls him Gowon anyway. It's it's going to be an interesting dynamic between these characters. The episode ends with Sechan uh, asking Majin to use her fortune telling, which has now been souped up, it appears, by her becoming Zenkai Majin, since she now has Magi Ranger powers infused into her. And she uses her fortune telling to look for the next Zenkaiger, which will be the final Zenkaiger for the team that they need. And the clue that she gets is a pair of glasses. So they're looking for somebody with a pair of glasses. Um, I should also note Yatsude, the Kaito's grandmother, is still delivering. She just wasn't too active of a part in this episode. She was kind of in the background. She had more of a presence in episode 1 and 2. Here she was just acting as support. So hopefully they bring her into the mix a lot more. Say 66 says, I wonder what those glasses mean. I have no idea. Um, what I do find interesting is Japanese fans have seen the complete team for weeks now, because we've had the movie where they're a complete team already. The movie takes place before episode 7 and after episode 6 in that middle. We have the Zenkai Red special coming out, which takes place after the movie in that same space. So they're a team there. So everybody knows Vroon is the final member. It's just a matter of how he gets there, because he is technically one of the villains right now, even though he's the janitor. Next time we get Vroon, we get the boxing world, and we get both robots teaming up in a boxing ring against 2 robots. So that's always fun. I'm loving Zenkaiger. It's just so fun. The characters are so well developed. The world is really interesting. Everything just looks great. It's fun. It's celebratory. It's not taking itself too seriously, but it's also not making itself a joke. I really like it. Jurassic Samurai, thank you for joining. Jurassic Samurai said, did she mention that Juron is her brother? No. So she called him Oji-san, which is uncle. Um, he's not her biological uncle. He's just when you have in Japan, it's all honorifics, right? So if you know an older person who is not related to you and they're above a certain age, they are your oji-san, your uncle. So he's that to her. He's an old man, exactly. Um, but he's an old man that she is familiar with. He's a friend, a family friend, a neighbor. Um, if you're below a certain age and you're an oni-san, you're a brother or a sister, same thing. Um, I thought it was hearing one-san. Yeah. Uh, no, yeah. There's no like familial tie between them. But they do know each other. They are friendly with one another, which is interesting because we haven't. They never made that apparent from any of the preamble that we got about the show or the press conferences. We didn't know that they had any relation to each other. I'm wondering if Vroon maybe has some relation to Gowon. Probably not, but it would be interesting, especially since Gowon really, really seems to not like Kikainoids, and maybe it's because of what Toji Tendo is doing. We kind of get a hint of that last time, where he was like, really, he just hates all Kikainoids, it seems, but he really seems to dislike Toji Tendo. So that could be interesting. So that's it for the episode discussion portion. If you guys have questions on that, you can ask them carte blanche. I will answer them straight away. I will take this moment to remind you before we do the Gear Slinger stuff that I do have a donation link on the About page. I am not asking for any donations. If you are enjoying the content, if you enjoy what I do in this channel and Tracking Rumors, and you donate, I will only use it to buy more merchandise for review or improve the channel. We actually just picked up a phone mount for my tripod, so that's going to help improve the video quality. And also, for any model kit building videos that come up, we're going to have that phone as a second camera to kind of look over the model building, so you can use it as more of an instructional video and build along with me. So that should be pretty fun. So yeah, if you have the disposable income, I know not a lot of people do right now. I certainly don't, but I would appreciate it. It helps do what I do. Okay, let's break out the Girdlinger. Ah, smooth. Love it. So GP set 1 I've decided to not do unboxing for just gears. It's not really worth the time, and I feel bad making people sit for what essentially is 30 seconds. But I will do, if the gears come out along with other merchandise, I'll do the unboxing, or I'll do this where that weekend I will uh, show off the gears during Zenkaiger. Before we do the sounds, I do just want to show off Braggy Brag. Oh, that's better. That is the rare Zenkaiger gear that comes with GP Set 1. Sounds are exactly the same. There's no difference in sounds. We'll do 16 G-Ranger first. Love it. I love this song. Okay. Charging sound is the same for all of them, but there's the dinosaur sound, and yeah, dinosaur teams all have that sound, and then we do get a Gatling as well. That's fun. Dressed Samurai says it works the same, but I want it for a somewhat cheaper price than what it's currently going for. It's going for crazy prices on eBay, man. I was checking yesterday just because I was curious. I think I saw them for like $40, $50. It's feeling like Ranger keys again. Here's the Kikai side. While not confirmed yet, it's going to be the same for all of them. While it's not confirmed yet, I think it's safe to assume that GP Set 2 is going to have a Juron rare in the same style. This is why the phone camera is going to help a lot. Die Ranger is next. Have you tried the reverse barrel spin? I have. I don't like doing it. It feels like you're breaking the gun, to be honest with you. I know you're not, but I don't like using the toys in ways that they were not intended. I leave that to the people who are hacking it online. Um, and with the sounds that are in the gun, it's not anything too extraordinary. And I think we're gonna get all the sounds anyway, so I can hold off on doing that too much. That was Die Ranger. Last one showing off for today is the one that we actually used in this episode. See how we planned that? Uh, that is Tokuger. I will say I continue to love how the gears are done. Just the painting, the way that they kind of sit 3D on top of the black background is just so cool. So Die Ranger had the martial arts thing, which is really interesting. What's fun about the Tokuger one is that it has the more mystical sound. Ghost Ager has the same sound. I think they did that because it kind of sounds like a train. We're being tricky. I like it. That is it for the new gears of GP Set 1. So let's talk about uh, what we can expect from the channel going forward for the next couple weeks, and then also some leaks and rumors that are out and about. So, in processing for me now, I purchased Deluxe Gingayo, Deluxe Boltaurus. Gingayo is used, so it's got some scratches on it, but it still looks pretty damn good. Uh, and then Boltaurus is sealed. We're going to open that on stream when it gets here. I purchased uh, the Sun Volcan Jaguar Vulcan, the Super Mini Pla. We're going to build that on stream, definitely. And I'll have my rig set up by that point, so that should be cool. We're waiting on Mini Pla Zenkaiger Juramajin. We're going to build that on stream. So that'll be fun. And bear with me on the modeling streams because I'm still figuring them out. We have Deluxe Zenkyo Juramajin coming in 2 weeks, as Say 66 pointed out. We have that mini plot. We have a bunch of stuff coming to the channel, and then we have next week with episode 4 that talk through. We'll go through rumors now, but first a comment from Jurassic Samurai. When they have to film them using the Q Ranger gear and it projects 9 Rangers on screen, it'll be a glorious mess. Oh man, I'm hoping for it. So what I like so far, and it was a little bit, they kind of cheated this episode. Episode 1, we had Kaito and Juron using them separately, and it just used the Red Ranger on both of them, right? Episode 2, we did have we had 2 occasions of using the gears. The first was Kaito used it, and it put the team of 5 into the 2 of them, and then they did the 3 Rangers at the end with Hurricaneger, and each of the Hurricaneger went into one of the Rangers. This time they kind of cheated with the 5 Tokuger going into the 4 Zenkaiger, but it still works. And I think they're going to do something similar with the 9 Rangers, but you're right, it is going to be a glorious mess. Okay. So that's GP Set 1. That's what's coming up to the channel. As far as leaks and rumors, let's go over what we're going to get soon. First and foremost, spoiler alert. This whole time, spoiler alert. Please, if you don't want to know leaks and rumors of what is coming out, please, I will not be hurt. Just mute me for the next 5 minutes. I'll give a thumbs up when we're done talking with this. So what do we have Before we do that, 666 says, I got my technically Zenkaiger going. Nice! I'm assuming you're getting them so you could do all the different combinations. Um, I appreciate that. What I'm going to probably do is have the other combinations represented with the Mini Plus, since I'm getting those too. I just need to order my second Majin room. I wish you luck. I wish you luck on these journeys. I think Furumajin is still available on Toku Collectibles. I could be wrong. It might just be the set that's available. Anyway, again, spoiler warning. I will give a thumbs up when I'm done. And I appreciate you guys joining me so far. Here we go with the spoilers and leaks. So what's coming up for Zenkaiger? Well, we have on March 29th, we have probable scans dropping for Terabikun and Terabi Meg. Try as they might, people just won't stop scanning the magazines. Even if they did manage to stop them from scanning the magazines would still be out. People would be sharing the covers. It's kind of a no-win situation for them. So I do ask, if you see scans online, they're going to get shared around, but please don't tag, the companies involved or producers of Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, as other fans have done before and asked questions. Just kind of let it ride. If you're going to share them, but don't tag professional accounts in them. It's not classy. But that's coming out on the 29th. We're going to get our first look at Zenkaiger, which is really exciting because he's supposed to be a gold Gokai Red. Say66 says, I mostly got it because I was thirsting for the Zords. Hey man, you don't have to explain thirsting for the Zords to me. I completely support the overbuying. Jurassic Samurai says it's going to be an exact repeat of the Zeo Trinity. Yeah, man, Zeo Trinity was real bad. That one real bad, real fast. It's the reason that we don't have catalogs anymore. But we're gonna see Zenkaiger. I'm really psyched about the design. Again, gold Gokai Red just sounds really cool. Kind of sounds like what they did with Zenkaiger, where they did the color that wasn't in Go Ranger, right? There was never a white Go Ranger, but Zenkaiger is the white Go Ranger. There was no gold Gokaiger. There was a gold mode with Gokai Silver, but there was no gold. And now we're getting a gold Gokaiger in Zenkaiger. C66 says, but yeah, I want to do both combo sets at once. I completely get it. And definitely share the pictures, because I won't be doing that. Just because I don't have the space to do so. But I will do my other combos in the mini plot for sure. Yeah, we're getting Zenkaiger. I'm not sure if we're gonna get Tsukai Riki and Tsukai Katana. Those are his robot friends. They're not Kikainoids that we know of. They're more SD robots. They're supposed to look like SD Gundams. One is in the make of Orange Robo. That's Riki, who shares a name with King Ranger, even though the spelling is different. This is spelled Tsukai Riki, like an American spelling of Ricky, Ricky. So he looks like Orange Robo, allegedly. He's going to be blue and silver, as is his eventual robot combo form. Excuse me. And then we have Tsukai Katana, who's based on Shinkano, and he's going to be red and gold, as his future combo. I'm not sure if we're going to get a look at them, because Zenkaiger's robot isn't out till June. I would say we're definitely not getting a look at Crocodile, which is his battleship mecha. But who knows? Maybe they'll tease us. Jurassic Samurai, Say66 first says, yeah, let's keep the secrets to ourselves out on social media. Yeah, look, I don't think there's any reason to tag professional accounts in these things. They know this stuff's going to leak. You're only getting the fandom into hot water, basically. You're just getting privileges taken away from us. Share it. Hey, share it in private messages, right? Share it on a message board. Share it on places where they're not going to go, have it accidentally show up in their faces. Jurassic Samurai says, I'm hoping for an eventual solo Chogokin for more Sentai mecha. Those would be the only mecha I'd be buying. I'd be up for buying. I understand. I think Chogokin is a lost art, especially when it comes to Super Sentai. Having recently bought Gao Ranger toys, there's just something different about that Chogokin feel. Um, I will say though, I highly recommend the Zenkaiger mecha. I think they're a lot of fun. The electronics give it a lot of playability. But you're definitely not alone in wanting Chogokin. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think the last Chogokin we got for Sentai was Magi King. Um, we got certain things for Tokyo, but I don't think it was Chogokin. It was more just kind of additional parts to make him more posable and stuff. Say66 says, "Wait, have there been more leaks of their appearances?" There's we have more information on the two robots, which I can go through. So, we have two Kaiser. His two mecha friends, his two SD robot friends, are Ricky and Katana. He has two forms using those their gears. So his main form is a Gokaiger form using the 35 two Kaiser gear. Using the two Kai Ricky gear gives him the 19. It's the 19 gear. Gives him the O Ranger form. He gets a loincloth. It's kind of got blue coloring. His helmet gets a star, like a red, and then his 35 changes into a 19. Um, Tukai Katana's gear works the same way. The number turns from 35 to 33. He gets the Howery, the long coat from Super Shinkenger, but it's red. Um, so those forms sound cool. The way the mecha works is really interesting and really cool sounding. It is a six modes of play for Tukayo. Excuse me. Ooh, need much more liquid. Better. So Tukayo has 6 modes of play, which is something we've never gotten from one Super Sentai toy before. Uh, I'll get into that after your comment. 666 says, "Yeah, I mean that mostly as a joke. It's 30's secret that everyone isn't on, but as long as they have some form of plausible deniability, they don't do anything." Exactly. So why are you gonna throw it in their faces? Share it between fans. There's no reason to tag the official accounts. They're gonna announce to Kaiser officially, by the way, on their own time, probably within the next week or so. So why throw leaks in their face? Doesn't really make any sense. Tukayo, 6 modes of play. So we have the two little SD robots. We have a motorcycle mecha, which we don't have a name for yet. We have a crocodile car vehicle kind of thing, also a mecha. So you have two mecha that belong to Kaiser. The SD robots are actually able to ride those two mecha. Then you put those two mecha together, and they make the crocodile battleship, which is Crocodile, who was rumored before. So that's 3 modes of play right there. Fourth mode is that Crocodile can directly turn into a giant bazooka. And then 5 and 6 are the two Tukayo forms. So you have Tukayo Ricky, which takes Crocodile, combines him with Ricky. Ricky becomes the head. Katana becomes a weapon. And that is the O Ranger form. It's blue and silver. It has a star mark on the chest, I believe. The way that these robots combine is it's the crocodile head is either pointing this way or this way. I think one side is the Ricky side, one side is the Katana side, but Ricky is blue and silver. Katana is the flip, so Katana makes the head, Ricky makes the weapon, and then it's red and gold with a fire kanji symbol, like in Shinkenger. Um, we'll hopefully get those pictures of the toys end of May in those magazines, the magazines that show off June, unless we get leaks again, and then we'll probably see them sooner. Jurassic Samurai says, "I'm hoping for more high quality digital pictures from the Korokoro website. The ones we've been getting look gorgeous." Yeah, I miss. We used to get like really, really high quality scans, and we still do. I just feel like it hasn't been the same. It's not like the good old days, I guess what I'm saying as an old man. C66 says, "Getting very strong Go Wonder vibes from that." Yeah, there's a lot of influence there. I think one Japanese theory that I heard was that the reason it's called Crocodile and the reason it's a crocodile at all Besides the fact that Crocodile has been, well, Alligator Crocodile, that kind of mecha has been present in two other anniversary seasons, is that the Shinkenger had the Kuroko, which is the stagehands in No and Kabuki, and they're the servants in Shinkenger. Uh, we have Kuroko, and then we have Kodai, which Kodai means ancient civilization, like Oranger. And if you stick those two together, you get Krokodai, Kuro Kodai. So Kuro Kodaio as the crocodile mecha. Might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think it's interesting that they took those two together. And the crocodile doesn't really evoke Gokaiger outside of the obvious Peter Pan homage, perhaps. Say66 says, so were the fortune likes or whatnot descriptions that you gave? Uh, were these 4chan leaks or whatnot descriptions you gave? No, they're from a 5chan leaker, who is proven to be legit and has some sort of presence at the toy meetings when they happen. I don't usually report 4chan things. I don't trust 4chan. They don't like me. It's a mutual dislike. So usually they're wrong. 4chan has had one set of leaks that were really, really true. And admittedly, I completely disbelieve them at that point because I just think 4chan is usually white noise when it comes to these things. Not that 5CH isn't a lot of white noise, but you can identify who is legit on there pretty easily after a couple of, months and tracking what is true and what isn't. So these are legit for sure. But again, from 5CH, not 4chan. So that's Tukayo. Tukayo is the latest toy in the second quarter. We have no deluxe toy for May, which is pretty typical. We have a lot of ancillary stuff coming in May. Not Yudo. Yudo? Yeah, Yudo is coming in May. So we have Yudo, which is a pretty big expense, and then we have some gears coming out, that kind of thing. We'll probably have another few special gears coming out too. I would imagine Zenkai Red is going to get a gear. Say66 says, sounds about right for punny names. Okay, same source as usual then. Yeah, same source. So while I can't reveal certain sources of mine, that source I can reveal because it's a public source. That is 5CH. I just have a habit of making sure I don't post everything these days. I used to just post rumors for fun, but people take what I post and just call it confirmed, and I can say grain of salt until I'm blue in the face, but it doesn't really matter. So I only now post things that I think are either really interesting, even if they seem fake, or I know that they're confirmed. So this source is 100% legit. Um, the only thing I would say, and why I still say grain of salt, is because humans are fallible, right? He's going off, or she, probably he. It's Japan, and it's a otaku message board. Probably he. It could be a she. I don't want to discriminate. Um, they they're going off of information from either a heavily watermarked toy catalog or a toy meeting that they went to back in February. So it's like you kind of got to cut them some slack. They're probably not 100% right in these things. One of the things was the things that they posted was that there's no God type between Zenkaiyo and Tukayo. But that's only going off of what's in the second toy catalog, right? So there was, VSX in Loop Hat didn't come out, wasn't known about until catalog 3. Um, we got the train mecha showed off in Loop Hat in catalog 2, but we didn't get the combination until catalog 3. So it's very tentative information, even though it's confirmed. Things can always change. We had Oguma Sky Blue in Q Ranger, and he was supposed to be a different Ranger suit, but production changed, things happened during production. Um, Part of the reason, besides Trinity, that I think we don't get catalogs anymore for for mass distribution, uh, and why they heavily watermark them now, seems to be the case, so that no one will leak them. I think is because, besides the fact that they're not intended for fans, some things are still in development when they're in the catalogs, and they change. Um, I remember back in the days of Kiva and Go Under, where we got really bad leaks. Um, and like the design catalog for Kiva and Go Orange were leaked. And Kiva was called Vlad at that point. When we got the catalogs, Ixo was called Kamen Rider Knuckle, I believe. No, Kamen Rider Hunter. It was Kamen Rider Hunter. He had the Hunter Knuckle. Was the transformation device. But these things change. They just change because the names don't work. It doesn't fit the story. So it's confirmed, and it's probably going to be that. But that doesn't mean that little bits and pieces can't change, and it really doesn't mean that there's no Gatai between them or anything like that. This is only what they're showing off in the catalog. Remember, by the time we get the new catalog, first week of April, so by the time Tukayo actually comes out, we'll have the third catalog. So there's that. Yeah, magazine's out on the 29th. Third quarter toy catalog listing will be out on the 7th of April. I want to say that. I just want to say hi to everybody else in the chat who has not commented. Btovar3, Ditsabit, and Il Delara. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. Yeah, so it's kind of, they don't want to advertise too much, I guess is the thing with Tukayo. He doesn't come out until June. They have another listing coming out and another toy catalog for the wholesalers that'll be out there, where they can put any combinations with Zenkaiyo there. So that's what we know from the catalog listings. We also have rumored 2 mecha. We have a Ninja Kikainoid rumored. He's coming probably, I guess I should say he or she, but they're coming for maybe the movie? I have no idea. We have a Ninja Kikainoid rumored, and we have Zenkaiger's mecha rumored, which is supposed to look like Very Doreen from Go Ranger. Part of that rumor is that mecha will allow the 2 Zenkaiyo combinations to combine with each other, giving us a Muteki Shogun looking 5 Gatai robot. So that's really cool sounding. The other rumor that came from the Geared Slinger, so it's not really a rumor, it's a leak, is that there is a power-up sound in the gun. It is a super sound effect. It probably points to a power-up for Zenkaiger, maybe tying to the Very Dream-like mecha. We do know that in the Zenkyo Juramajin toy in Juran, there is a super Juran sound effect. This probably ties into the super mode somehow. I don't think Super Juran is the 5 combo. I think it might be like a halfway point between Zenkaiyo and the 5 combo. Maybe showing up around June, May, around there. Say 66 says, yeah, that makes sense. There for the production teams to get an idea, and nothing is 100% finalized until I said it. Exactly. So, especially if it's designs, like, I think when Lupin X, Patron X, the second quarter catalog for Lupad was out, the actual mecha, his mecha, the X trains, X Emperor, it was all designs. It was like CGI mock-ups. It wasn't the actual toy. When that's happening, that usually points to them being still in development. They have to, if they're still in CGI, they haven't done a lot of testing yet. So they're not going to show the combined form because it might change between development and production. So yeah, that looks like third quarter rumors is going to be the movie mecha is a ninja, or the ninja is somewhere in the third quarter, and then we have this Zenkaiger mecha. Also leaked from the Geared Slinger, there are 2 new hero sounds, which could point to two new Rangers. One is going to be 2 Kaiser, because there's no 2 Kaiser sound of the gun, but that leaves another Ranger in there. I don't think it's Zenkai Red. I think Zenkai Red is going to take either the special sound effect in the gun or the standard Zenkaiger sound effect in the gun. So I don't think it's Zenkai Red. I think there's just going to be a third Ranger, maybe a female, kind of to round up the cast. There was a casting call for a female regular. So I would expect either a female Ranger or another female villain. Yodona was pretty popular in Cure Major, all things considered. So I could see that happening too. Or both. We're in need of an evil Ranger, to be honest with you. Say 66 says, Juran does have this thing on excuse me, sorry, let me try that again. Juran does have a thing on his lower mouth that looks like it could activate something on something else. Yes. So it looks like it's the third in the Juran like sound pin. It's the third one that activates the super sound, and it looks like it might figure into that thing on his mouth. You're correct. And then you say 66 says, yeah, X Emperor was very different than what we got. Very different. It was, I mean, it's still the same design, but it looks a lot different from if you go back and look at Catalog 2. Very different. So I think that's one of the reasons they pulled it. But yeah, I think we're getting at least one more Ranger, hopefully a female Ranger, just to round out the cast a little bit. So there's that. I think if we do get a third human Ranger, she might not show up, she or he, I'm hoping it's girl. I don't think they'll show up until Q4, but maybe Q3. I think Q3 is going to really focus on the power up for Zenkaiger. So there's that. Leaving that aside, we do have some rumors starting to show up for Kamen Rider, the new Kamen Rider. And part of that is the recently leaked summer movie flyer for Zenkaiger and Kamen Rider Saber. What's interesting about this flyer is it is one has a cross, so it has a cross symbol in the middle of the two titles, and Geki Joban, or movie version, is over the cross. Usually what happens is the flyer will go out and it'll say Kamen Rider, the movie, Super Sentai, the movie. This doesn't say that. This says Kamen Rider Saber times, or cross, Zenkaiger with the movie on top. So it looks like we might be getting a crossover movie for the summer movie. Reasons why this makes sense and reasons why it doesn't make sense. The reason why I think this is happening is twofold. One, it's an anniversary year for both shows. What better way to celebrate a double anniversary than having this big crossover movie? Hopefully with a little bit more substance than, say, the Tyson films, which are a lot of fun, but are complete nonsense when it comes to, fitting them in anywhere in continuity. But we have Zenkaiger dealing with parallel worlds. It's easy to get Kamen Rider Saber characters into the Zenkaiger world for a movie. Absolutely easy. We do have also Kamen Rider Saber and Ichigo Gears in the Gearslinger. The sounds, anyway. So that could be for this crossover movie. That aside, the reason it makes sense is because Zenkaiger already had a regular movie with the Red Ranger movie that just came out as part of Movie Ranger 2021. And while it's not a full-fledged movie, it basically accomplishes what a summer movie for Super Sentai does, right? 20 minutes, it's fun, it's a lot of spectacle, so they need to do something different, I think, for their actual summer movie. As for Saber, it had the same thing. It had a regular movie, a very short movie, but it's in need of a more substantive movie. And we've not really gotten a lot of information about the movie wars for Saber that was teased. It was supposed to come out back in December, but they pushed it and then put the Saber movie out with the 01 movie. So I'm wondering if the movie wars for Saber and 01 got kind of canceled, and basically what they're going to do is weave that into this Rider versus Super Sentai movie. Now, reasons that it doesn't make sense, I think it'll be kind of busy, and I think Saber is going to be on its way out, and you might want to focus any anniversary celebration for Rider on the new Rider. But at the same time, the new Rider might be in this movie, so I think it's probably fine. And I'm excited for it. Direct Samurai says, the best thing to come from the Tyson movies were the spring crossover specials during Tokyo and Ninja. Excellent point. So I think the TV specials have always been fun. I was not a fan of Ninja, but the Ninja Drive special was so fun. The Tokyo Game special was so fun. And the original crossover Decade and Shinkenger was fantastic. So I agree. I think if this gives us a TV spin-off tie-in episode, that'll be really great. Or if it's just better written, if it's better conceived, if it's basically an episode of Saber and an episode of Zenkaiger put into one movie, hopefully by the Zenkaiger staff, and not the Saber staff. Maybe directed by Koichi would be nice. I would be down. I'm very down. So that would be for July or August around there. So there's that. As for Kamen Rider 2021, what can we expect? Well, here's my positing. It is not a rumor. It is not a leak. This is just me stating an opinion. I'll give that thumbs up. So we're done with spoilers. This is not spoilers. This is just me theorizing Kamen Rider 2021. As I theorized Zenkaiger last year, and I got some things right, some things wrong. So here's my theory. Right now we have Saber, which is a completely mystical rider, right? It's not really doing much for me, but it has gotten better, so there's that. It's not a eyesore to watch anymore. Cool. We have Zenkaiger, which is extremely technical. It's technology based. There's robots, but it's also celebrating Super Sentai, which means it has mecha that's spread. It's a wide spectrum of different kinds of mecha, right? We've had animals, we've had mythological creatures, we've had vehicles. We have a ninja rumored. We have an alligator coming up, a samurai robot, a robot composed of ancient civilization myths and stuff. So it's a lot, right? I think the next Kamen Rider probably has to lean into the technological, but it also might have to heavily lean into the bug aspect of Kamen Rider a lot. And we might get a beetle mecha in Zenkaiger. So I'm not saying like necessarily that it'll be a bug, but I think it has to lean into. I'll put it this way: it has to go more 0-1 than it does Saber. It's got to go for the technology aspect of Rider. I would even posit that it probably is going to be some kind of reboot. Not a reboot in the discounting everything that came before it kind of way, but I could see them going back to the source material. It's the 50th year of Kamen Rider. We had a trademark for Shin Kamen Rider. Now, is this going to be a new movie series? Does it have to do with Shin Kamen Rider, the character Shin? Can it tie into this new series? Are we going to see Kamen Rider Ichigo, but done in 2021? Is that going to be our series? There's a lot of interesting ways to go with it. I think that's where they have to go because I think Zenkaiger, even though I think there's a deeper storyline in Zenkaiger, it's going to get a little bit darker. Not too dark, but a little bit darker. I think Kamen Rider has to go for that dark, almost crossing into horror. I think we have to go back to early Heisei style with following Reiwa because 0-1 kind of brought a better balance of that, and Saber went away from that. And I think it's always a juggling act, right? If Kamen Rider is doing one thing, Super Sentai has to do the opposite. Kamen Rider basically made a Sentai show. It did it, in my opinion, poorly, and had to basically spend 20 episodes recovering to get back to a Kamen Rider show. But it was designed as a Sentai-esque Kamen Rider. Zenkaiger is designed as a Kamen Rider-esque Sentai, or a Metal Hero-like Sentai. but it works for Super Sentai because Super Sentai is constantly reinventing itself. Kamen Rider has not really reinvented itself during the Heisei period. It's regarded as being more adult than Super Sentai, and that's true. It's targeted a little bit higher. There's more adult themes in it. The the core audience, part of the core audience is housewives. Um, but the same can be said for Sentai at different seasons. My main point is Saber, I think, went too far in the realm of copying Super Sentai, but not copying the heart. I think we need to go back to the early Heisei, where Kamen Rider is kind of a horror mystery that can still be enjoyed by kids, and Super Sentai is the kid show. And it's quality kid show, but it's the kid show. And Kamen Rider's kind of like the older brother, but it's a very different show. Kind of like what Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh used to be on WB, back when 4Kids wasn't the worst thing in the world. Um, I think that's where they have to go again. I feel like they've gotten off the beaten path. I feel like Kamen Rider has tried to take too much of what Super Sentai has with having robots now, and I mean, Saber just looks like a Super Sentai. I think they're taking the opportunity of the double anniversary to kind of reset the definition, but I do think that we're going to get a straight technology Kamen Rider, but not technology in the same way as Zenkaiger, more technology in the way of maybe he's an android and they're going back to Kamen Rider Ichigo. Just my thought, again, not a rumor, not a leak. I will report those as I find them. C66 says, a reboot like Star Trek did, where it's its own thing, but still in the history of the lore. Exactly. So I think that's what we're getting. They could surprise me. I mean, it also depends on what the next Super Sentai is going to be, right? So we have to kind of go with that as well. If Zenkaiger is technological, the next Super Sentai is probably not going to be technological, right? We had Kira Major, which was technology. We had Zenkaiger, which was kind of a mix. And Kira Major was a mix too. It was technology and magic. This is sort of technology sci-fi, right? Kira Major was sci-fi fantasy. This is hard sci-fi, comedy, but hard sci-fi. So I think maybe next year for Super Sentai is going to be a little bit of fantasy. Excuse me, guys. My voice is going. That's it for me. We've been going a little bit over an hour. Um, I'm cool to hang around, ask questions if you guys haven't. Let's see. Oh, Commander Root, thank you for joining the podcast. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm in the wrong mind frame. If anybody has any questions whatsoever, it could be anything. I guess I'll leave you with. We'll do 5 more minutes. So right now I'm actually going back and watching Super Sentai that I haven't seen. I am on Sun Volcan right now. I've been going in order. So I did Go Ranger, Jacker, Denji Man, and I'm on Sun Volcan. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Go Ranger, Jacker, Battle Fever J, Denji Man, Sun Volcan. I was like, that. C66 says, oh, the next one could be more experimental too. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. Zenkaiger seems to be doing well, right? If you look at Super Sentai, there are eras. We have peaks and valleys. Go Ranger, really popular. Jacker, not really popular. Battle Fever J, really popular. Coming off of Spider-Man's popularity with the robots. And then you have a crest. Battle Fever J, Denji Man, Sun Volcan, Goggle 5. And it kind of starts to slope down, right? And the slope down comes from it not updating itself enough. It becomes stale. And not that any of these shows are bad. If you watch most Super Sentai seasons, I enjoy. I think there's been 2 that I don't enjoy, and even those have good parts of them. That, by the way, is O Ranger and Ninja. Just not my cup of tea. I'm sure people love them. I'm sure there's people like big fans of them. But if you watch Super Sentai show in a vacuum, they're all pretty much quality, right? There's good parts and bad parts to all of them. When they're one after another and they don't change, there's gonna be a point where that lack of change keeps you at the same level of popularity, and then you're gonna begin to tank. I think the last couple of years of Super Sentai, they were trying to change things, but they weren't changing the right things, right? They went after Gokaiger, they went with Go Busters, and it was really a more adult show. It leaned into Metal Heroes, but it wasn't something that the kids could easily digest, in my opinion. The theme song was probably a little hard to sing. Uh, the mecha, while cool looking, the toys are super difficult to put together. If you're an adult, they're difficult to put together. I can only imagine a kid. Um, so you have Go Busters, and then right after Go Busters, you get Kyoryuger, and they start to go into this super kitty, not in a bad way, but super kitty. If you compare Go Busters and Kyoryuger, it's night and day, right? And Kyoryuger is one of my favorite shows. I love Dinosaur Seasons. I love Kyoryuger. I think it's a masterpiece of Sentai uh, direction and writing and character composition and all that. And the toys are great. The collectibles are great. But it goes into that kitty level. And after Kyoryuger, it continues to go more kitty, more kitty, more kitty, more kitty, until you get to a point where we're at Zyuohger. And Zyuohger wasn't a financial failure, but it also wasn't popular, right? Tokuger was a big uptick because of trains, but then Zyuohger was just kind of animals, and they were cubes, and it was a cute gimmick, but it wasn't anything to write home about. The mecha themselves, while there was some interesting design and everything, and they're fun to play with, they don't really look too appealing as toys. In the show, they look fine. In the toys, they can leave a little bit to be desired. Um, and that's nothing against Zyuohger. That's just a point of the toys. Ninja toys are horrible to look at. In the show, they're not as bad, but in the toys, they're pretty bad. Um, so this kiddier thing kind of tanked it. I remember it's incremental. So if one season's kiddie and you have kids watching that, and the kids are saying, "Oh, I don't want to watch this. It's too kiddie," or the parents are saying, "Well, these toys are really kiddie. They're not really doing anything for my son, my daughter." I'm gonna go buy, Shinkalion or one of Sendai's competitors, where it's a little bit more complex, right? Um, so I think Sentai decided to really change things up with Q Ranger. The problem is there was too much of a leap and not enough time put in it. Uh, 666 says if they go any more kitty, they'll just be Voltron. Nice. Um, I don't think there was enough time allowed for them to win the audience back. I think we went Q Ranger and we went hard uh, with Q Ranger. And I think a combination of just being so different from Q Ranger, I'm sorry, so different from Zyuohger, the toys being kind of oddly designed, like cool but oddly designed. The Q-Tama not really being the most kid-friendly or collector-friendly collectible. I think that led to the sales to continually decrease. Then you get to Lupat, which is, I mean, it's not a show for kids really. It's just not. Um, it's more of a drama. It's very popular with the adult fan base. Um, I like it fine, but its story is kind of lacking. But the characters are there, in spades. Um, but there's no toys to sell. The toys themselves, the mecha toys, aren't really anything to write home about. There's no collectible. There's no, the mini VSVs. Besides me, there's nobody really wanting to buy them. Uh, so there's just a downward trend where you hit Ryusoger, and Ryusoger is basically like emergency repair, like emergency sell dinosaurs. hit the dinosaur button. And Ryusoja can't recover those cells either because you've had 2 years where kids were alienated from things. And even Ryusoja is pretty adult. I've heard rumors that the director of Ryusoja really wanted to lean into the adult storytelling, and the production kind of pulled him back from that, and there was a lot of back and forth, and that led to some pacing problems. Which even as a Ryusoja fan, Ryusoja does have pacing problems. Um, but it's all accumulative, right? So you need to kind of have a 5-year plan of sorts to kind of get yourself back into good financial standing to right the ship, as it were. With Kira Major, we had a very popular series with low toy sales, sure, but low toy sales during a pandemic. And I mean, it's a very beloved series by a lot of fans. So I think Kira Major won a lot of people back to watching Super Sentai. And I think now we're getting the follow up of that, winning them back with Zenkaiger, which is really changing the format a lot. Say 66 says, Band of America sure did a great job of taking the worst looking Megazord ever and managed to make it worse. Man, you ain't kidding. Say 66 also says, yeah, the collectibles that don't do much don't help the show. Yeah, exactly. You know, Ryusols are a lot of fun, but they're hard to keep track of. They're not based on any real dinosaur. Um, so unlike Kyoryuger, where the batteries are based on actual dinosaurs, the Ryusols are kind of hard to keep track of if you're a kid, or even if you're an adult. Sometimes I know lots of people who can't tell them apart. Um, these are genius because they rely on older Sentai teams, and that's going to attract a lot of people to buying them. And also, there's a finite number of them. They're collectible. What does this mean for Sentai going forward? If Zenkaiger is a big hit, and what am I talking about when I say big hit? I would say if Zenkaiger makes 8 billion yen, let's be modest. That's modest right now for Super Sentai. Let's say it makes 8 billion yen, or hey, if it goes above, if it makes 9 billion yen, that is more than a 50% increase from the past couple years. You're gonna see the Zenkaiger style of merchandising continue for at least another 2 to 3 years. What does that mean? Does it mean we're never going to see a full team of human actors again? No, not necessarily. What it does mean is we're probably going to get legacy collectibles. Uh, if you go back to even Kyoryuger and Tokyuger, we had legacy collectibles, and they kind of phased those out. But I think we'll get legacy collectibles for the next couple of years. Uh, as one thing, and 666 says, if the Ryusols could actually plug into the Zords, that would make them appeal to me more at least. Well, so they do. I think you're meaning if they could plug in for sound effects, right? Because they can plug into the Zords, the mecha. I agree. Yeah, Ryusoja very much needed some sound effects, which is why I think Zenkaiger's knocking it out of the park with the sound effects and the robots, and the sound effects and the gun and all that. So I think if Zenkaiger does well, we'll see this format carry over the next couple of years. Maybe Shirakura will stay on another couple of years to kind of get Sentai back. Excuse me, get Sentai back into good standing. Um, but we'll see. I do think next year we're going to get a mystical base season though, just because this is kind of hard technology. But that's where I stand with that. Kamen Rider trademark usually comes out May, June, so we're almost there. And then Super Sentai trademark can come out anytime the end of August through November, usually October. Uh, any other questions before I hang up? We'll go a couple more minutes. Uh, I feel a little bit better than I did last week, but my voice is still on the mend. So, okay, guys, I am going to wrap it up here. just because I don't want to blow the voice. Again, we're going to be doing this next week and for every week. I've been doing reviews with Go Mango when the subs come out for these shows. I'm not sure if it'll be on next week, but you can catch my episode 2 reaction with them, and I also did episode 26 of Saber on their channel, Go Mango on YouTube. Uh, if you are interested in collecting Zenkaiger, I highly recommend dealing with Toe Collectibles. If you're looking for more hard to find, so definitely check out Toe Collectibles. He has all the new stuff. If you're looking for more hard to find classic Super Sentai stuff, I would recommend taking a look at Kotetsu Toys. Uh, and there's always eBay, but definitely Toe Collector for your Zenkaiger needs. And then please like, subscribe, donate if you feel privy to. Check me out on YouTube, subscribe me there. Check me out on Twitter at the Real Matt Hunt, and on Ranger Board, Dukemon, the moderator there. Um, I am an open book, guys. You can choose to message me at any time. I'm happy to answer questions. I really do try my best to get along with people. I hope it comes across in the videos. I really appreciate you guys sticking around, listening to me flap my gums for over an hour. I hope you're enjoying Zenkaiger. Um, I even hope you're enjoying Saber if that's what you're into. C66 says, I'm glad you're recording this. Twitch keeps cutting out. Is it me cutting out, or your feed cutting out? This is recording and it will be up, so you can kind of watch this on the back end. Please do let me know, guys, if the quality is bad. Um, I also put up the episodes eventually on YouTube as well. You can check them out there. Okay, I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it, and we'll be back probably next. Well, we'll be back next Saturday with the episode 4 breakdown. We might be back with some toy reviews before then. I appreciate it, and good night. Take care, guys.